back to my channel. I am back with another Baddies Africa review, so let's just get right into it. So this episode picked up where the last one left off, where Natalie put together this little talent show for the baddies so that they can win some money, and it was Cold Killer's turn to get up there and do a performance, and she started performing her song, and while she was performing the song, her and Diamond the Body were going back and forth with each other because we know that they have the same song. And I'm tired of them going back and forth about this song. This song has been coming up since the very first episode of this season, and I'm over it at this point. Neither one of them own that song. They both remixed it, so I don't see what the big deal is. But Diamond the Body is starting to get annoyed with Cold Killer about this song situation because it's not even Diamond's song. She was just featured on it. It was actually Tinkabella's song. So Diamond tells Natalie to call Tinkabella up on the phone so she can deal with it because it's her song. So Tinkabella gets on the phone and she starts going back and forth with Cold Killer. And look, I do think that Cold Killer's version of the song was better than Tinkabella's. I definitely do. I heard them both and I like hers better, but I think they need to dead the whole song situation. I mean, Tinkabella is not even on this season. She's pregnant. So I think the whole point in bringing up the song this season didn't make any sense because the person whose song it was isn't even a part of this season. Then Dolly gets up there to perform her diss track against Diamond the Body, and the music wasn't working. Something was wrong, and so it kind of was a little bit embarrassing because she got up there and she couldn't even perform, and she was getting hyped up for her performance that she never even got to do. I will say I did like Ivory's performance. I thought that she should have won the talent show, but Natalie ended up giving the win to Choco, and I can kind of understand why Choco won because her performance wasn't stirring up any drama between any of the girls. She just got up there and performed a song that nobody knew about, so it wasn't a diss track or anything like that. However, I did like Ivory's performance a lot better. Now, later that night, they actually ended up all getting ready to go to a club booking, and while they were on the sprinters on their way to the club, everybody was talking about each other, and Tavii was saying that she still wants her Baddies chain back, and I mean, I get it. She's not wrong. I mean, Dolly shouldn't have snatched her chain in the first place. I mean, I think she snatched the chain because she was mad that, you know, Tavii got the chain and she didn't, even though Dolly already knows that she's gonna end up getting a Baddies chain regardless of which order she ends up getting it in. But the Baddies chain situation gets put on the back burner because when they show up to the club, everybody was kind of on their best behavior at the beginning. Everybody was dancing and enjoying each other's performances up until it was time for Dolly to perform, and Natalie ended up having the DJ play, you know, Dolly's diss track against Diamond the Body, which was definitely messy, but honestly, that's the only song by Dolly most people know who watch the show, so I think maybe that's part of the reason why the song was played, but we know it was also played for a little bit of drama as well. And while Dolly was performing, Ivory was making the other people boo Dolly while she was doing her performance. Her, Diamond the Body, and Pretty P were booing her the entire time she was performing, so there definitely was a little bit of drama. And then Diamond ends up performing her song, and she's kind of going back and forth with Dolly in that situation. Things did not turn physical though, because I think they knew better than to fight inside of a club in Africa. But the next morning, Natalie actually ends up calling Diamond the Body up on FaceTime, and she basically says that, you know, she feels like Diamond is a leader of the house, and she wants to give Diamond something else to do other than beefing with her. And I'm not gonna lie, I know a lot of you are not gonna like this, but I actually agree with Natalie. I'm over the beef between Natalie and Diamond the Body. It's old, it doesn't make any sense, and I think it's pointless. I think it's stupid for any of these girls to be beefing with Natalie because at the end of the day, it's her show and she's not going anywhere. If she was going anywhere, she would have been gone a long time ago, so I just think it's pointless to keep beefing with her, especially because it's not going anywhere. When the beefs get dragged out for so long, it gets boring. But Natalie basically tells Diamond the Body to tell the rest of the baddies to get ready because she has an activity planned for them to do. Now, before they end up leaving to go do the activity, some of the girls were together talking about some stuff, and Dolly and Lex were talking about Summer and how they missed her and how they didn't know what she was doing, so they tried to FaceTime her and she wasn't answering the phone, so they were kind of getting a little bit worried because we do know that the reason why Summer was gone is because she got seriously injured when she got hit by a security guard, so that's the reason why she's been gone this entire time. But during this scene, I couldn't help but notice that Dolly had an eye patch over her eye, and this girl is literally always injured. Last season she was injured all the time. Now this season she has injuries too, but I didn't know why she was wearing the eye patch because I know it wasn't from the fight with Tavii, because after the fight with Tavii they ended up doing that whole, you know, talent show thing, and she wasn't wearing a patch over her eye, and then when they went to the club she wasn't wearing a patch over her eye either, so I'm pretty sure it had to be something that happened in between that we weren't able to see. P. But Pretty P is sitting down having a conversation with Ivory and Diamond the Body, and she gets kind of emotional and said that her grandfather passed away and that she's gonna have to go back home for the funeral, and she doesn't know if she's gonna end up coming back. That was definitely sad that she had to deal with something like that, especially when she's so far away. She didn't really get to say goodbye, but I do think that she does end up returning back to the show, because while this season was filming, some of the blog pages were showing that Pretty P actually did end up returning to Africa. Now, the celebrity guest did end up joining this episode. It was Marissa Dene. I think she's the baby mama to a rapper. I don't know who it is, but I just feel like she's not really a celebrity. I really didn't know who she was. I did see her on the Shade Room post before, but other than that, I really don't see her as a celebrity, but she seems cool so far. But in this episode, before they end up leaving to go to the activity that Natalie has planned for them, I couldn't help but notice that Tavi's face looked a little bit messed up after the fight that she had with Big Lex. And I mean, it was obvious that she was going to get messed up, because Lex was definitely connecting those hits on Tavi's face in last week's episode. Her nose looked a little bit swollen, her face looked a little swollen, and underneath her eyes, she had some swelling. I mean, she did admit that her face was a little bit messed up. She kept saying that she looked like an avatar after the fight. And when they got on the sprinters to head to the activity that Natalie has planned for them, Tavii was saying that she still has smoke for Dolly and Lex and that she wants to fight them again, and she wants to get her Baddies chain back. And she said that she felt like the whole reason why Lex and Dolly came for her was because she got her Baddies chain and Dolly didn't. Now, I feel like that is the reason why Dolly got involved, and that's the reason why Dolly snatched her chain, but I don't think that that's the reason why Lex started fighting her. I don't think Lex had intentions of fighting her on the bus, but when things got too heated and they were in each other's face and Tavii swung on her, that's when she decided to fight her. She was calling her out over something different. It didn't have anything to do with the Baddies chain, but I do think that Dolly snatching the chain had everything to do with the fact that she was mad that Tavii got the chain before her. Natalie actually ends up taking them to a cultural village, and they end up going shopping, buying some souvenirs. They started learning about how to greet each other in that village, and they learned how to play the drums and how to do some dances, which I enjoyed watching them do, because I do feel like we need to see them explore Africa a little bit more. Like, what's the point of going all the way to Africa if they're not going to actually explore there? So I did enjoy watching all of the cultural parts of this episode, and I loved when Big Lex got up and she started dancing with the dancers. I thought that was fun, and it was nice to see her really come out of her shell a little bit and just loosen up and have a good time. But once the dancers ended up leaving the room, that's when Natalie stands up and lets them know that because they're going to be going to the club later that night and she doesn't want any fighting to go on, she wants to know if anybody has anything to get off their chest, and we know that that means she wants them to fight. So basically, Tavii starts coming at Dolly, telling her that she wants her Baddies chain back, and Dolly just basically chucked her the middle finger and basically told her she wasn't getting the chain back. So Tavii started asking for sneakers, okay? She's taking off her shoes, and Scotty starts taking off her sneakers to give them to Tavii, and I was like, girl, what the hell are you doing? Like, I thought that was kind of funny. Like, why are you taking off your shoes and giving it to this girl? But yeah, she asked her for some sneakers, and basically Big Lex ended up getting up to fight Tavii instead of Dolly, and Tavii started saying that Lex had no reason to fight her, but the other girls were telling Lex that she wanted to fight her again. Like, Tavii was saying that she wanted to fight them again and she wanted her Baddies chain back, so the girls went back and told Lex that she wanted to fight her. And so Lex got up, and I mean, Dolly did have an eye patch over her eye, okay? So if Dolly can't fully see because she's injured on her face, then I don't think there was anything wrong for Lex to get up and take the fade for her. I don't know why fans were dragging Lex for getting involved in the situation, because when Fauna did it for Cold Killer and Cold Killer wasn't even injured, everybody cheered her on for it, but now Lex is fighting for her friend who's injured and everybody's saying that she's wrong. I don't think she was wrong for it. I mean, her and Tavii already had beef with each other, and Tavii was saying that she wanted that. She was saying that all at the beginning of this episode, that she still had beef with Lex and Dolly. So it's like, okay, so then one of them got up to fight you. But once they started swinging on each other, that's when the episode cut. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Africa. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.